Hello, everybody. God damn it. I have to keep my phone close. I keep remembering to greet the wife, and we can get the girlfriend, and we can get back in business. So I managed to solve some things, but I'm afraid it's not a definitive solution. So air, tail, and hair, tail, and Redis server. Yeah, I'm afraid that my current solution is not it's not the one that will work forever. So we hit it, and now as it can be seen, works perfectly fine and perfectly okay. The problem would be I don't know how stuff will happen when I swap every single one of them, but let's try and take a look. So this is going to be responsible with 3,800, and we're just gonna reset it. Very well. All right. Then at this point, what we want to do is start working on the questions. Basically, the question would we should read each and every single question. And reset the socket connection on anyone else. I would start over here. So the first thing would be maybe lay down some way in which, okay, lay down some way in which I'm gonna keep the questions afloat. So far, I thought I'm just gonna load them up in a single file, just because I don't really care to make it. Like last time I used a JSON, and I think that this time will go kind of the same. I just added the idea of Redis for convenience. So questions database.json, yes. And I think that this will mimic precisely that. Okay, so starting over here, we can still make like a db folder. Sure, why not? I'll say db.go package db. Sounds fantastic. Paste this in, or rather, db type JSON. This is where I paste my JSON. And my db.go is where I'm gonna load it. So in order to load it, I'm gonna func load questions. Well, this loading would be basically manual. Just gonna load it once. It'd be like some way to refresh Redis. And load questions, and we return nothing. Okay, so Redis should be like some way of that. So Redis client. Okay, can't quite remember, but I think I have a get Redis, or it's just called Redis client. Okay, so this is the one. Now we have the RDB. We also want to read out the file and move it on. So I don't quite remember go read files. Don't quite remember how this is done in Golang. So I'm gonna just check it out. Data OS read files. And this will just give me a string. Sounds good to me. So let's import OS. This sounds like would be from the starting library, so db.json. Very well. And if r different from nil, we can log.fatal, or we can just print it out. Can't read JSON, and we will panic because at this point it's perfectly clear that we can't read JSON. I wrote some JavaScript beforehand, so it's making me confused. Now we can unmarshal this stuff. So let's make down. Wait. Do I straight up read it and write it into Redis? Would that work? Mean. I would suppose to. So this guy will come in first place. Yeah, I would suppose that this is how it works. I'm not 100% in this. Let's try and write it down, and then we will see how it's get, if you can parse it. So rdb.write or set rdb.set, so context background key, a string, it will be questions, and the value is our date, which I like to call the data, and a 0. Now clearly we would want to take a look at the error. If r different from nil, can't write questions. Okay, so we can go run, but actually this should be run when I start the server, but maybe not really. Wait, it says here that I'm offline, but that could be just a tablet instruction. Looks I'm doing better. Now my tablet is aware that I'm alive. Okay. So I want to load this once. Makes me believe that I can main it and func main and just say load questions. Would this be fair? Go run. I think that the DB could be independent. Can't read JSON file. Okay. Take a look at Redis clean. I say get questions. Looks fairly solid to me. Now, one thing that will solidify that is we at the end of the day we will still need to write the definition. So type question. It's going to have did I save it as an array of questions? That's an interesting thought. Oh, okay, this should be an array. Okay, so a question would have ans1. It's a string. Okay, type struct. And we don't need any terminator, which is weird. But alright. This at the end of the day will still be exported every time. And yeah, also the JSON was that JSON dot and ans1. Actually, at this point, I'm just gonna start again. Okay. So it's going to be a G control A twice. Will this be repeated? Thankful, yes. Okay. It's gonna be the answers, but also the question. Let's say the quest and quest. So one question will be 4 answers, one quest, and also pick. Now it's looking beautiful. That being said, can I marshal it into that? So my var questions is going to be an array of var, let's say quests, an array of question, like that. Make an array of type Golang. Don't remember ever how. Hate this direction. So it's before. Okay. Then, will this work? I'm genuinely curious. So quest equals unmarshal or JSON dot unmarshal. And your marshal would take the data, which we have to write to read. Get as with data. We still need the context, we still need that, but we don't need anything else. And we need the result. But this will complain because data is not the type, so that. And that should unmarshal the that. Obviously, we will still read unmarshal. That's the big deal. Okay, the result is where it goes. So this is the R and this is the quest. Okay, fair enough. We can use the string, which at this point means that we can just say that that is a data. And like was like this. Without the S, so byte. And for L in how do I iterate quest dot for f70 dot print my L. Sounds good. I don't expect it to work. God fucking damn it. Go how to unmarshal an array of data. Yeah, I was expecting that my array of data won't unmarshal that easily. You know the easiest way? Marshal this in Go. Marshal that, bitch. So it's a map string question. Okay. Simply won't work. As expected. Or is it because of this? Oh wait, did I? No, I didn't. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Okay, I'm gonna just quickly copy this. So it's going to be a question, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be a path. And of course I forgot about the correct one, which would be, it's called correct. Alrighty, so this loads my questions seamlessly, so that's good. Just because I find it very annoying to run them down personally, and writing it as a JSON is just very quick, so up until I need to store data forever, I'm more than satisfied. Now, I would wish to know why my JavaScript is getting executed twice, but whatever. And this, what the fuck? Okay, that was weird. Now, since we have our questions, it's time to copy this bad boy and move on to work on the questions. I believe that it isn't a terrible idea to split. First off, this socket has a pretty bad name, I believe, as a file. Probably it would be decent if it's being called like somewhat of the game or the controller. The other way it could be called is game state. And this way we could split in a file that I would call game master. Yeah, let's go with this. So it should be game state, and then we make a game master. Because package handlers. Oh, it won't delete my socket. What? Yeah. And in main, I need to fix my import. Oh no, I'm importing the whole handlers, so that's still okay. Because at the end of the day, it's still question handlers. Well, actually, that's kind of sweet. Okay, so I see what happened there. No, didn't happen anything. Great. Master. Something is happening that's not okay. Grader. My LSP is tripping hard. Let's clear it out a second. And handler state. We have the state handler master, which by the way, I'm gonna pen it as first. Okay, so speaking of the master, now my big boy, the master is going to read the questions and moving accordingly will We will start it up. Okay. The first good idea. Now I don't know if I want to split it because at the end of the day it is very small as a file. It's getting a little bit confusing. I don't know if it would be easier. But let's give it a try. We can always go back. Right, so we were sending an option document over issuing read options, which will read our options from the DB. But at this point, I'm gonna just read out the set of the options. I'm gonna read and return my question. And now, well, it's still probably worth writing options. This way I don't spoil that to the client, which is the correct one. But I can just nullify it, can't I? Yeah, that sounds the most reasonable one. So we don't need to set anything. We are returning a straight up question. Problem is reading which question we are returning. So that's a tiny more confusing. So we'll start with reading the first one. That's going to be okay. And this is going to be questions. And this is a question. Or rather a map. By the way, I don't know why I'm mapping that, but fine. Map of string question, and we will return question dot first. I guess we can return question one. And this is terrible code. Like this feels absolutely filthy. So we're getting the questions, which by the way should be a constant at this point. We have some constants here, and we're gonna call it questions. And the constant will be questions. Now, whenever we're using this, I'm just gonna run questions. And also, okay, we're not using it anywhere else. Great. Now, we're reading questions. Great. And this means that right now, when I return this guy, okay, car, ship, space, bike. Great. Well, obviously, there has to be some way to understand which one we are reading at the moment, and that would be that has to be on the game state side, won't it? Like when I start the game state, we would want a tracker for our, let's call it like var current question. But see, now I feel like a asshole because for some reason I wrote it down very stupid way. And this did not need to be like that. Like this is a straight up array. Like, isn't this valid JSON? Looks valid to me. Obviously, what? And then a map, this would straight up be like this. And we return 0. Hopefully this doesn't, okay, this didn't break. It behaved accordingly. And which means that at this point we will want to save core question, which will start with 0, first one. And our function get op, still called get options. Read options. It will called obviously T. Read question, singular question, and it will still need which, but I don't need to pass it up since it's a global state, which it is wonky code, I'm not gonna lie, but if I remember correctly, this global state inside a Go file isn't that crazy bad. So gladly it will, thankfully, loads precisely that. That being said, this specific is now that we're writing the correct one, we need to deal with writing the correct one here as well. And that's the big to-do part. The big to-do part here is that when we read this, we would want, let's take a look at the main, because I believe it is in the main that I'm having a question handler. Okay, I see. This is where our question magic works. We can move it into the game master. So we can import that one. We don't need to print that out. We can, sure, import log, not a big deal. Oh, so it does get seen, but whatever, fine. That's great. And now, at this moment, we're right. We're upgrading. We're not doing anything else to be 100% clear, because everything happens inside the game handler. At this point, it feels like the game handler should be moving down here and called a game handler. And our guy is going to be pissed here because now it should be a game handler. So currently nobody's pissed inside that. But as she's a handler's game handler at this point. Excellent. But we're in dire need of reading and writing the correct path, because at the moment we're trying to execute one specific template, which is that guy. So one thing that we can just drag it down. Going to be the constants. Like the upgrader is not necessary. Players so far not. We're going to import the templates. And over here, I just need it's going to be not even the player menu. Just need the index stuff. Okay, index, head, footer. Okay, sounds legit. I think. I need to parse those files. I believe so. Alright, then answered will be moved inside of here. Does this break anything? No? Great. Answered. Okay, we're straight up reading it from it's always going to be 0. But what if I answer some shit now? Okay, 142. So, oh yeah, because it's getting executed from the other connection. And also it's not getting read as a Redis entrance over here, which should be fixed. Okay, it's fine. What we really want at this moment is initialize everything else. So we're, as of now, passing this struct over here. Which truly makes me just want to say, like, I mean, couldn't be like that terrible to do question and here to pass a question. And this question will obviously be read from, should be like a class that is reading the current one, right? Okay, and state up the question, where are we reading them? At the moment, like what, I have an answer over here somewhere? Well, these names are all terrible. Like, yeah, at now I check the current one with this state guy here. Great question, right? So we will start with that. Can just simply read everything and then pass the correct one, which I admit might be better to just have it in a Redis as the core, but one step at a time. I believe we can get the client even in here because they are in the same scope. So at the end of the day, Redis client, you can go to definition and fix this very quick. So RDB will be equal to Redis, Redis client. Now that the RDB, we are going to say that we have the var question as a question array, and we will read it Yeah, I'm supposed to get a get, so data air rdb dot get. Now is where the question. Now is where we need this guy over here. So if I go like that, is it question? Okay. And the key and the context. The context is first gonna start with background. They need to move my way to understand what's the big deal of these guys. Context, background, and result. Okay, if R is not nil, we can absolutely. I don't think we are panicking, but we log fatal. Okay, log print ln. Can't find them. Now the another R will be followed by our JSON.unmarshal. And there was two arguments, so the data and the dot questions, or the byte version of the data, sure. Okay, enough. We're gonna do that like this. Can't unmarshal them data. And then finally, our final piece is question dot current question. So the scope is, I don't even need to export it to be able to use it in this one. That's fine. That's great. I can deal with that. Okay, now this shouldn't in any way impede anything, but it's still called the index, which I don't really love. And that should be able to be replaced with question. Wait, I need to export it, don't I? Yeah. Okay, so that's a singular question. And question again. Game Master 52. 52. Sorry, what is this? Undefined question. Wait, did I misunderstood? Is no, it's inside the handlers. Game Master 52. Doesn't look like. Actually, my server crashed. This hasn't happened in a while. Okay, this time is the game state. Oh, that's the deal. Okay, looking solid. Okay, interesting. And why is that? Or rather than the index, I think in my templates I have some example of. Oh, it's handlers question. That's the big deal. Template can't evaluate field handlers in the types of path string. Answer it. Question. Handlers. Not question. So it's game and 0. What? Oh no, that 0 is the fourth one. Yeah, I'm starting to understand why people use temple. This is very annoying. How do I specifically deal with that guy? Like, I was under the impression, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, if I say path over here, what happens? Yeah, looks like path is not. Okay, so see path did get through, which should be meaning that in my master I'm passing. So this is the guy that would, theoretically speaking, this is the one that I want. Can't evaluate field question in the abstract. That's because it asks me for handlers that question. And I remember that it won't even hit about this. Yeah. So what gives? What's the deal? Wait, is it because of this one? So let's call it current. Let's see if that's the mystery. So current. Okay. Yeah, that was a little. Now you can't tell me that that's not the field that question has. Oh, I called it quest. Yeah, that's not my bad. The fuck you can't. Why would this motherfucker give me mad? Go pass struct of struct to template. No, wait, is it because it's a capital quest? Okay. I swear, I'm starting to understand this being quite annoying. To answer one, I believe that's what I end up doing. Okay. Should be quite trivial. Don't believe I even need those anymore. R4, R3, R2. Car, spaceship, bike, ship. Good. This is good. And the current answers. Did I pass it over here? Okay, the answered should go here. Dot answered. No, answered gets init as 0, but it should be init every time that I read a question. No, read the question. Every time that I start this guy over here. Also redis rdb.close. And at the same time as we are reading that guy, might as well and the questions we will read the answered. Yeah, this one. Okay. There's no new errors, no new values anywhere. Can't count. And simply be answered. That's going to, like, how did I read it over here? Answered. So we get it, and then we string import, and you say that data. This is our count rather than a count. There should be like an answered. Okay, this is some shitty naming, so I'm gonna fix that sooner or later. Right. Come back to life. That's definitely incorrect. You can just feel it. I stopped crashing, like what's... By the way, what am I printing over here? Okay, we are done with the gray business, so as we were saying, we were done with the gray bit. What the fuck is going on? Okay. We were saying, so this This is not loading the correct one. Why? Why? Like, am I missing something? Why it's still 0? Oh, am I overwriting it here? There's no swaps happening over here. Wait a minute. Saw it, I saw it, I saw it. This is definitely the wrong place to place it. Okay, and that's 0. Oh, I should say 60 so far. It's be like a time down kind of thing. Okay, so clearly we're reading out we're reading it, we're writing it. So clearly something is going on amazingly. We can even, I guess we can save everything. And I shall push it as what? We will say, I think I'm gonna push it as simply reading the question. That's a small enough and good idea. Now there's the list. So there's a couple of things to be done. First off, this guy over here has to be it has to become like my timer, but I don't believe it's going to be that big of a deal. Also, it's JavaScript, so I'm gonna forget about it for now. The last glorious part that we want to know is once we get in and we click it up, so our answer get registered. Now we want that this answer to be saved on Redis. We want to know how many players, so we should collect how many players we have. Once we know the amount of players that are supposed to answer, we're gonna let him, we will wait for everyone or for the time to expire, check every answer, and reset both the check every answer, show the scoreboard, and reset, read the next question, and do again, distribute everything. So these are the steps. Maybe we can swing to Trello and see if I'm going to, maybe I should write some stuff down to help me out. I log it to the Google. Yeah, I'm feeling great to finishing up also today over here because I have to go like half an hour. I'm gonna expect, okay, the current project is being overrun. I'm gonna call it Java game because it isn't anymore my current project. So a new board. Am I gonna lose time? Say the pictures. I like lava. Current project. Okay, to be done. Actually, now everything of those been don't make any sense since I have that to be done shit. Since there's the completion mark over here or somewhere, yeah, I can just put it as completed. So is it anymore? Is it good anymore? I don't believe so. All right, then timer in JS. So there's one. Another one would be leader board. Check match the questions. Broadcast next question to everyone else. This would make the bulk of my game. Another that needs to be done is musts. And nice to have. Can't have empty name. Can't duplicate name. So this is some activities that I don't dislike working with them, but I don't believe that I need absolutely to have them. And what more appropriate way? I would also move the move questions, save current quest inside the radius. And I have to have is export last game. Also create demo game, and I would at the same time, so we're gonna create a demo game and have multiple rooms. But these are to be seen. I'm gonna first work out so that everything else works correctly, one by one, and then we'll see. I'm gonna take a peek at how this timer will work in JS. So delayed for 1 second. Yeah, that was going to be like okay, this is some benign JS that I can simply reset at my pleasing. Like I can give him the timestamp when I can trigger something some way so that it will read my timestamp. So it's been interesting. It's been interesting how we will introduce this, because the part that I'm curious is about the resetting part. So far so good. 1 hour in, quite quick as we're one person. If there's any of my guys that I see on the usual, I could just go for them. and do a quick raid. Well, thanks everybody for being here. I'm going to see you tomorrow morning.